integration of cutting-edge technology. Experience the future of connectivity, effortless and intuitive, making content creation effortless. Unlock the transformative potential with Zazmic. With a global force of 450 experts across 50+ countries, we excel in DevOps, AI ML, migrations and cloud infrastructure. Top-notch certifications back our suite of services led by Google Cloud Premier Partnership. Revolutionize your business today with Zazmic.
Welcome everyone to our AI for Creatives, VO, and Gen Media webinar. We're truly excited you've taken time out of your busy day to join us and explore how the latest advancements in generative AI are transforming creative workflows. Today, we're going to walk through how VO and Gen Media are enabling teams to move from concept to creation faster than ever, unlocking new levels of storytelling, content production, and campaign innovation. Whether you're focused on marketing, media production, brand strategy, or creative direction, this session is designed to give you practical insights into how these tools can elevate your work. We'll also share how Zazmic supports organizations in securely implementing and scaling these AI capabilities, ensuring you can innovate quickly while maintaining governance, quality, and brand integrity. Our goal today is simple: to inspire new ideas, demonstrate real-world applications, and provide clear next steps for bringing AI-powered creativity to your organization. Before we dive in, I want to quickly mention that this is a global webinar. So our goal isn't just for you to walk away with new insights today. We'd also love to connect with you one-on-one to explore your organization's specific use cases in more detail. Please feel free to scan the QR code that corresponds to your region. So anything outside of the US and Canada, please take a picture of the QR code that's, I believe it says Euro and Asian. Now this QR code will take you directly to our calendars so you can set up a convenient time to meet with our team. During that conversation, we'll explore your organization's specific use cases and discuss how we can best support your needs. We also encourage you to submit questions throughout the session using the Q&A box below the streaming window. We have a very, very big group that's with us today, so if we're not able to address your questions live, we'll be sure to follow up directly via email with an answer. So to kick things off today, we're going to hear from Mohammed, who's one of our leading AI ML engineers here at Zazmic. He'll be followed by Andrew Dunn. He's from our customer engineering team, and we'll wrap it up with Maria. She'll be sharing her specialized expertise as an AI video creator. The agenda today, we're going to cover Nano Banana, we're going to cover VO, and we're going to cover industry use cases, as well as how Zazmic can help. Off to you, Mohammed.
Thank you, Sean. Hello, everyone. Today, we're going to deep dive into Gen Media on Vertex AI. So this is Google Cloud's answer to modern content challenge. It offers a complete enterprise ecosystem of generative AI models designed to power every aspect of your content needs, from video generation with VO3 to voice with Chirp, music with Lydia, and image creation with Imagine and Nano Banana. I'm going to focus exclusively on the image side of the house and dive into Google's newest breakthrough, Nano Banana, and show you how it can transform your visual workflow. So let's jump in. Let's first talk about the challenges of visual content creation at scale. So right now, marketing teams spend around 20 to 30% of their time just trying to create visual content. And if you want to hire dedicated engineers, you're looking at $50,000 to $100,000 annually per person. Similarly, if you try to cut cost and go ahead with stock photos or fragmented editing tools, you sacrifice brand consistency and customization. And if you're already tried out available AI tools, you've likely seen that its text rendering is currently unreliable, which makes many outputs unstable for professional marketing. And these aren't small problems. They directly impact your time to market and your ability to compete effectively. And that is exactly what Nano Banana is built to solve. So Nano Banana is Google's latest multimodal AI image generation model. And as a member of the Gemini family, benefits directly from Google's most advanced AI research. Since its launch in 2025, the response has been massive. In its first month alone, users created over 500 million images with it. Other than that, Nano Banana comes in two different variants. One is Nano Banana, which is best for speed and volume. So when you need to generate hundreds of variation quickly, this is what you use. And the other one is Nano Banana Pro. So this is your precision tool for quality and accuracy. So when you need to create marketing materials with accurate text rendering or product visualizations where every detail matters, this is what you use. Now, let's take a look at the engine under the hood and see how it actually works. So, the traditional AI image generation models are like a game of telephone in which you whisper a message to someone and they pass it down the line. And by the time it reaches the end, the message is completely changed. So, in these models, your prompt goes through a translation layer before reaching the image model. And some of the meaning gets lost along the way. Now in Nano Banana, instead of having separate layers, it's a one unified system that understands text, images, context, everything at the same time. So having no translation layer means no information loss, which means stronger language understanding, better at text rendering, and more accurate understanding of real world physics. For example, if you ask for a glass of water on a table, so it understands gravity, it understands transparency, reflection, and everything that makes the scene feel real. So now that we understand the technology, let's see how to use it effectively. So everything I've told you about the Nano Bananas capability, all of that only matter if you know how to communicate with the model effectively. And that's what we're going to cover now. So let's start with the key principle. Don't let the AI guess. Tell it exactly what you wanted to generate, and it reward detail specific prompt. For example, if I asked each one of you to picture a cat on a bed, so all of you would have different VM, like different breed, different setting, different mood, and the same concept applies when working with AI. So when you're typing a prompt like a cat sitting on a bed, so the model has to guess everything, like what is the breed, what is the color, what's in the background, what's the time of the day, etc. And when the model guesses, it defaults to generic average choices. Now let's look at the same concept, but with a precise and detailed prompt. So the prompt here is now definitely much longer, but notice how much more specific this is. We have specified the breed, we have specified the color, the action, the type of blanket, the time of the day, and even the aspect ratio. And look at the results. It's a professional quality image that looks like it came directly from a professional photographer. The lighting is beautiful, there's depth and atmosphere, and most importantly, it matches exactly what we asked for. And this is why precision prompting matters. The model doesn't know your brand, it doesn't know your vision. It can only work with what you give it. So the more specific you are, the better your results will be. So then the question comes to like, how do you build a prompt like that? And the answer is pretty simple. So here's a framework consisting of five essential elements that every good prompt should include. Think of this as the building block of a great prompt. So first is the subject, like who or what is in the image. Be specific. Don't say a cat, say a fluffy Persian cat wearing a tiny wizard hat. Second, composition, like how is the image framed. This is important because you control the emotional impact through composition. Third is action, like what's happening. Even if the subject is stationary, the action you describe affects the pose and the energy. Fourth is the location, like where does it take place? For instance, a product in a studio looks very different from a same product in a lifestyle setting. And the last one is the style. Style is what makes an image feel cohesive. With the style specification, you can get something that matches your brand. So once the VN is defined, you can further define the output by adding some technical details such as the aspect ratio, camera, lighting specification, any text you would like on the image, or any reference image to guide your style. But again, remember, like every element you leave unspecified is an opportunity for the model to make a choice that you might not like. So you shouldn't leave out any information. Based on the discussion we just had, I've put together an example using the essential elements that we just covered. So in the prompt, we have clearly specified the subject, composition, style, while also adding the additional technical details like the text, lighting, aspect ratio. And if you look at the results, the headphones are clearly visible. The lighting is professional. The text is crisp and readable. It's following the font, and the overall aesthetic is clean and commercial, exactly what we asked for. So moving on, up to this point, we've covered what Nano Banana is, why it's different, and how to prompt effectively. Now let's see all of this come together in some real world business application. Uh, let's start with a real practical business use case, updating event marketing material. So you have a poster template or design, but you need to change the date, update the speaker, swap out photos, etc. So traditionally, you'd need to go back to your designer or open the design file in Photoshop and make the changes manually. However, with Nano Banana, you can actually do this in seconds. So in this prompt, we have clearly specified what to change and what not to change. So the original poster has specific color, layout, fonts, but we want all of that to remain exactly the same. We're only changing the date, the speaker name, the speaker photo, and the URL. So let's take a look at the generated results. So on the left, you can see the input that we provided to the model, and on the right, the updated version with all the changes that we specified. So the date has been changed, the speaker name is updated, the picture has been replaced, but the background colors, the style, and the overall layout and everything else are identical to the original. And this is what intelligent image editing looks like in practice. With this approach, we can empower the marketing teams to handle routine updates quickly, while the designers can focus on strategic and creative work. Let's take a look at another incredible common use case, creating data visualizations for a financial report. So for this example, we took some standard quarterly data and focused on presenting in a way that is both visually compelling and easy to understand. So in our prompt, we clearly define the data, the key insights, and the visual style. And the result is a professional financial report featuring a growth chart, a pie chart, and a separate section for the key metrics. Creating this report manually requires a tough combination of both design and data expertise. However, using this approach, this takes the heavy lifting off your plate and it lets you generate high quality visuals quickly. Here's another exciting and emerging application for e-commerce, virtual try-on. So this solves a massive problem in online retail. Customers can physically try on products before buying, which leads to high return rates and also customer hesitation. However, with Nano Banana, you can actually create diverse model imagery showing your products on different body types, ages, and ethnicities without expensive Photoshop. So in the output, you can see the model's face remain consistent, the clothes look naturally worn, and the proportions are correct. And I believe these results looks good enough that we can instantly use these images on an e-commerce product page. Another use case is brand identity application, specifically creating mockups of your logo on various products. So this is incredibly useful for merchandise planning and visualizing what your brand would look like across different applications. So these results are again professional enough to show your stakeholders or client to help you make merchandise decision before committing anything to production. Next up, we have a use case that's incredibly valuable for global businesses, product localization. So when you're selling in multiple countries, you need your marketing materials to reflect local language and cultural context. So traditionally, this means creating an entirely separate photo shoot for each market. However, looking at the results generated by Nano Banana, notice how everything is identical other than the translated text. The product design, the color, positioning, layout, everything is preserved. So instead of creating separate campaigns for each market, you can quickly generate multiple variants from a single source image. The next use case is both interesting and highly practical. It's also something I've been using quite a bit lately to help me redecorate my own space. So here's the scenario. You have a 2D floor plan and you want to visualize what this space will actually look like once it's built and furnished. So in the prompt, we specified the design direction we were aiming for, and the results accurately reflect those instructions while also preserving the original layout. So this really showcased how strong Nano Banana is at maintaining physical structure and also spatial understanding. So for architects and real estate developers, this is transformative. So instead of having expensive physical mockups or spending hours in 3D rendering software, you go from a simple floor plan to photorealistic visualizations in minutes. Now, let's see something real powerful. So, we took all the images and the use cases that we just discussed, and we asked the model to merge them into a single cohesive scene. That's complex because we're taking multiple source images and merging them into a single frame. But you can see in the output that this is a beautifully composed scene. Everything looks like it belongs in the same space and shot at the same time. This doesn't look like separate images pasted together. It looks like an actual photograph. And this capability is really valuable. You can test different compositions, different settings, different models, showcasing different products without organizing expensive photo shoots. So, as we've seen, that Nano Banana is a powerful technology, but with power comes responsibility. So Google has built several layers of protection within Nano Banana. So first is Synth ID watermarking. All the images generated by Nano Banana embed a digital watermark called the Synth ID. So if you generate images using the Gemini app, you may see this watermark. However, through the developer tools like Vertex AI, it's invisible to human eye, but it can be detected through specialized tools. Second is data privacy. So when you're creating marketing materials or any business content, you're working with potentially sensitive information. So data privacy ensures that the information is protected. Lastly, safety filters. So the model has robust built-in filters that prevents the generation of harmful, violent, or explicit content. It won't generate images of identifiable real people in compromising situations. Lastly, I want to be completely transparent about crunch limitations. It's important to understand its current boundaries and exactly where it might need extra human attention. So the first one is visual and text fidelity. So while Nano Banana is much better than the previous generation at text rendering, it's not perfect. In some cases, rendering very small text or producing accurate spelling in complex layout can sometimes fail. That's why you should always review your outputs carefully. Second is data and factual accuracy. So this is critical. Always verify the factual accuracy of data-driven visuals like diagrams and charts. So the AI can create beautiful visualizations, but it doesn't verify that your numbers are correct. Third is translation and localization. So multilingual text generation may make grammatical mistake. So if you're generating content in languages that you don't speak, you should have a native speaker review it first. Fourth is complex edits and image blending. So advanced editing tasks like blending multiple images can sometimes produce unnatural artifact. So you may need to generate multiple iterations and select the best results. Lastly, we have character consistency. So while usually reliable, character consistency may vary across multiple edits. Understanding these limitations help you plan your workflow effectively. In most cases, these issues can be managed through careful prompting, iteration, and minimal post-production. The key is to know where to pay extra attention. So I hope this gives you a solid foundation for using Nano Banana in your workflow. Now I'd like to hand over to Andrew, who will take us into the world of VO.
Thank you, Mohammed. I appreciate that. Today, I'm going to be introducing VO3. VO3 allows you to create videos based off natural language and different assets. It allows you to sync speech and dialogue.
According to this old sea chart, the lost island isn't myth. We must prepare an expedition immediately.
It creates custom sounds based on prompts. And it even maintains consistency through your prompts. I'm going to mute this one as it's a little bit longer, but you can see the prompt for this specific video is about an animated owl and I think that's a beaver or a badger, my bad, having a conversation here. You can see this is 22 seconds, so this one has actually been combined together for a couple of different videos. But this is leaps and bounds ahead of the previous iterations of VO. In case you guys haven't used them, the synchronization has been significantly improved. VO 3 also allows you to input text and images as reference material for their prompts. You can add up to 3 images as those reference materials. You'll notice in this specific video, we've uploaded a train, a model, and then a fox here, and it's created a nice little video of the 3 assets together interacting appropriately. And the output is with synchronized audio and dialogue if explicitly stated. Some of these outputs are also in 710, 1080p, and 24 frames per second. Another cool feature within VO is interpolation. This is how the previous video got past the 4, 6, and 8 second length. It actually has the ability to use a start frame and an end frame to create this video. This creates consistency across those videos. If you wanted to bypass the 8 second limitation, you could say, hey, here's my start frame and here's my end frame. And then for the next scene, you can use that end frame as the initial start frame for scene 2 and continue along that path until you get the desired length of the video you're looking for. Another benefit of VO is the aspect ratios. By default, it's 9/16 and 16/9, which are very formidable outputs, especially when dealing with advertising and social media. And a nice little touch, you'll notice there's no VO watermark on here. It's a synthetic ID associated with the metadata of the actual video created. So there is nothing to interrupt that video or that advertisement there. One of the other cool features that this supports is reference to video. So I'm going to play both of these videos, and you'll notice, this is a lovely lady riding on a snail with the chess pieces. You'll notice the reference objects here are a snail, those chess pieces, and then the model as well. One of the cool things is the ability to upload different references while using the same prompt and experiencing, significantly different results here. Based on the reference material, you can see the prompts and the videos are significantly different. A snail is slower moving than a car, so a car has got a little bit more speed to it as well. This really shows off VO's capability to interpret and analyze the assets that you guys upload and input into your reference materials, creating a much more dynamic storytelling capability. Now, why is this good for your business? Natively, the 9/16 video generation, as I alluded towards earlier, is the exact format for TikTok and Instagram. So all of your reels and your short form media require no additional cropping or editing of these videos. You can really just create these assets through VO and upload them into these social media platforms with high resolution. So really giving you a lead up. This will allow you to be agile with some of the viral trends, as opposed to waiting a couple of days and maybe being the 7th or 8th person to get on board with a trend. You can actually interact and react to these trends within hours using VO. You can say, since the Olympics just happened, I want to decorate myself with a gold medal. I know the U.S. hockey team was a big win for us, so I would like to deck myself out in a U.S. hockey uniform so I could advertise, all of that as well. This also creates rapid prototyping, giving you the ability to iterate on different ideas and different concepts as you guys are figuring out what works, as opposed to going back and forth with a graphic designer, which may take, hours, days, even weeks, depending on who you're working with. You now have the ability to interact with VO and Gemini to get these prototypes back almost instantaneously. As I mentioned earlier, the lip syncing and the audio effects are a new feature of VO3. really taking those videos to the next level, giving you the ability to add clear scripts and context that you want your characters and assets to come out with. This leads to mass personalization with all of your assets, saying, hey, Susie, here is a product I think you would like. In a video format might be a little bit more appealing or appetizing to that consumer than a standard blast email. It really gives you a different way to outreach with some of these customers in an ever-growing ecosystem. Now, what are some other cool features associated with VO? I would like to say the virtual production really allows you to create and film anywhere. You can upload yourself as an asset, as we saw in some of those previous videos, and say, hey, I would like to be, on the Las Vegas Strip, and I would like to have, a drink or a nice little welcoming party. Create that video and allow you to be there. And then you can also say, hey, I want to be on Mars, and it would actually create those assets for you. This allows us to move away from those stock assets that everyone is so familiar with. Think of, your typical Google search. Hey, I need an image of a person, or hey, I need an image of a book. We now have the ability to personalize some of these replacements, saying, hey, I need a picture of a person wearing a specifically branded logo on the shirt representing my company. I need a person to sing a song and dance based off our company's jingle, really just allowing you guys to have that much more personalization with your advertisement. Some of the smart editing features include image to video, turning static products into the dynamic videos and scenes. You can upload an image of one of your products and say, hey, I would like you to do a 360 of this particular image and kind of add additional flair for advertising purposes. Additionally, you can do keyframe to video, which automates motion design, helped by generating smooth transitions between a start and an end frame. This allows you to kind of produce professional looking animations and create longer form media content than just the 8-second videos from VO. And then video extension as well. You can upload an existing video and say, hey, I want to add an additional scene here with X, Y, and Z in that scene. And you should see those outputs reflected appropriately there. Now, here is where we're going to talk about some of the shortcomings. And then on this next slide, we're actually going to go through some of the ways to combat some of those shortcomings. And then after that, I know you guys want to see VO in action. So we will have a demo of that and talk about how all of this ties back into actually using VO. But first and foremost, one of the biggest shortcomings of not just VO, but all video generation tools, if you've used them before, is the physics, where you might have a random floating object. Water might not appear to act as natural as it may be in nature. These are things that VO and previous video generation models typically struggle with. Another challenge that we see is the consistency across different outputs, where details might change, or a shape might be in a correct spot, a color of a particular garment might be different. This one typically goes hand in hand with brand hallucinations, where text inputs can be interpreted incorrectly. The coloring of a specific logo is different than what it's supposed to be, things of that nature. And then these next two will also kind of tag team each other as well. You've got prompt bias, which over time, when you interact with these AI tools, they might think one thing and may interpret something off its internal knowledge base. For example, if you communicate in metaphors or hyperbole, it might take those to be literal, and you are going to get different results than you're anticipating here. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the context drift. As you start to keep running the same prompts over and over again, by design, Gemini and VO is going to change the content a little bit every single time. So if you keep running those prompts over and over again, you're going to get more likely to get hallucinations. And luckily, there are ways to combat all of these. We can start with the context drift. You can just refresh your page inside of your model. You can be more specific and saying, hey, make sure you don't hallucinate. I need 4 of the exact same images. We run the prompts over and over again. Everything that Muhammad mentioned earlier in regards to prompt consistency with Imagen will apply with Veo as well. Most of these models are designed to interpret and be iterative. So adding additional instructions, additional details will really give you better output. Brand hallucinations can be solved by adding those reference photos. Some of the features that we saw earlier are reference photos to be uploaded inside of the prompt with the prompt as well. And then the consistency issues, it's really easy to kind of solve these using those reference videos and interpolation, those 2 initial features that we talked about. If you want to make sure you have the most consistent pipeline, have start frames, end frames, segment some of those scenes up. If you're thinking of like a longer scene, make sure you have clear pivot points for those scenes to create those videos and to make sure that they're as smooth as possible. And then last but not least, with physics, we can really just simplify the scenes, break them into segments, and making sure we use some of the methods that Muhammad mentioned earlier, specificity with, for example, the water issue. You can say, I need you to replicate what a wave looks like. If you need to look up what a wave looks like, make sure you obey physics. Really just inputting additional instructions will allow you to get more realistic outputs. And the more you interact with these tools, the more and more they will learn how you like to interact and how you engage with them. So keep that in mind as well. Awesome. So this is a snapshot of the Gemini Veo ecosystem inside of Vertex AI. If you have a Google Cloud environment, you can really go into Vertex AI Studio and start testing this out and playing around with some of these. We at Zazmic have also designed an ecosystem that bypasses you creating a Google Cloud organization. If you really just want to test Veo without having to spin up everything inside of Google Cloud, we can direct you to our website where you can purchase a small amount of credits and really just play around with Veo. Some of this is included in different Gemini subscriptions. For example, Gemini Enterprise and Gemini Pro, you should be able to use Veo and Nano Banana, but there are some limitations in the number of requests you can make to those specific models as well. All of this we're happy to talk about and see which way to interact with the ecosystem is best for you all, depending on those specific use cases. But without further ado, I will hand it over to our colleague, Mariana. She couldn't be here today, so thankfully she recorded a nice demo for us to go through a Veo. So I'll make sure we go ahead and play that now, and then follow up afterwards.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope this demo will be interesting and useful for you. So let's get started. Today, we're going to work in Vertex AI Studio. On the welcome page, you can already see some example prompts and results. And there's also documentation if you want to explore things like video or image generation in more detail later. But for now, let's skip the theory and jump straight into something visual. I'm switching to the video tab and going directly to the interface that's built specifically for video generation. Let's start with something truly impressive. I want to generate a video that includes a very specific object, a character and a location, all combined into one coherent scene. For that, I'm choosing the reference to video task, which allows us to merge all of this into a single video that follows our prompt very closely. I'll keep the model as it is. Now I'm uploading the images I want to use. Here I'm adding 3 images, a bag, a woman, and a street where the action should take place. Great, the images are uploaded. Now I'm pasting in my prompt. Here I clearly describe what I want to see, how the woman should behave, how she should interact with the bag, and I also specify that she should speak with a British accent and say a very specific phrase. I make sure audio generation is enabled. I choose to generate just one result, and I leave the duration and resolution unchanged. Everything looks ready. So let's run it and see what we get. All right, the video is ready. Let's play it.
I love the design, it's different, but really easy to wear.
The model follows the prompt extremely well. The bag looks exactly like the reference, with all the details preserved, the color, the shape, everything. The woman matches the described character perfectly, and even the street remains consistent with the reference image. This is incredibly useful because it allows you to keep visual consistency across different videos. You can reuse the same objects, the same characters, and place them into different scenes, which is especially powerful for the commercial use. You can add real products, furniture, clothing, tech, basically anything, and simply describe in the prompt how they should interact. Now let's try another example. This time, I'm going to generate a video using a real product image, a sneaker. I want the model to rotate the sneaker around its axis in midair and then transition into another scene where a person is wearing the same sneaker and walking down the street. This is a fairly complex prompt because it involves object animation, scene transition, and object consistency. Let's run it and see how the model handles it. All right, it's ready. Let's take a look. This is a great result. The rotation looks clean and realistic. The sneaker clearly matches the reference. And the transition to the next scene happens exactly as described. The same object is preserved across scenes, which is really important for product-focused videos. This kind of functionality opens up huge creative possibilities, especially when you want to turn static product photos into dynamic video content. Let's go even further. Now I want to generate a video using two images, one starting frame and one final frame. The idea is that the character walks a few steps through a blooming field. The camera slowly moves closer and then focuses on her face. The overall mood should be very emotional, cinematic, and aesthetic. I set the duration to 8 seconds. Double check the images and the model and start the generation. The video's ready. Let's play it. I really love this result. The model follows the logic of the prompt beautifully and creates exactly the atmosphere I had in mind. The transition from the starting frame to the final frame feels natural and cinematic. This kind of start-to-end animation is an incredibly powerful tool. You can create high-quality, emotional videos and even advertising content using just a few images. One important thing to mention here is audio. Even when we don't explicitly describe the music or sound effects, the model often generates audio that fits the scene surprisingly well. And if you do want more control, you can specify what kind of music, ambient sounds, or effects you want. And the model usually responds very well. If you don't need audio at all, you can simply turn it off and add it later in post-production. And this is still not everything. You can also generate videos using only a text prompt without any reference images at all. This is especially useful when you're just testing ideas or exploring something more abstract. For these cases, you can use the fast model, which is much more budget-friendly and works really well for quick experiments. Let's try an example where we have a shopping mall, a clear sign on the building, and balloons flying into the sky. I'll generate multiple versions so we can compare different interpretations. The results are ready. They're similar, but each one has small differences, which is great for ideation. What's especially impressive here is that the text on the building is rendered correctly, which is something many models struggle with. And this is using one of the most affordable options. Now let's do something truly magical. This time, I'm switching to video in Paint. Here, I can upload a real video and then use the mask editing tool to select a specific area where I want the model to add something new. In this case, I'm adding a giant perfume bottle into a real street scene, along with a woman walking around and taking photos of it. Let's generate it. All right, it's ready. Let's take a look. Even without sound, this looks amazing. The perfume bottle blends naturally into the real footage. You can see reflections from the surrounding buildings. The model even attempted to add a logo. And while it's not perfect because we didn't specify the details, the overall realism is very impressive. This feature gives you incredible freedom to add objects into real videos. At this point, it's also worth mentioning that you can download these videos, extend them, add or remove objects, and find everything later in the History tab. Honestly, we could keep going for hours and still not cover everything VO can do. You can generate almost anything in any quantity using text prompts, real images, objects, or people, and test ideas incredibly fast. You can also choose between more advanced models and more budget-friendly ones, depending on your needs. Everything is intuitive, flexible, and designed to work with you. Thank you so much for joining today. I hope this demo was interesting and insightful for you. Goodbye, and see you next time. Hello, everyone.
Awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. And now I will be going over some of these use cases in the real world. One of the main things that you can really do to add spice to your additional catalog is add these VO videos to your stationary images. For example, this is a piece of furniture, and we inputted a prompt that says, hey, we want a lovely couple interacting with the furniture, sitting down on it, and just showcasing, this in a home. So this gives you the ability to add more marketing material to your existing catalogs, enhance that a little bit more, and create a better shopping experience for your consumers. You also have the ability to do a virtual try-on with some of these, so something that Muhammad had mentioned earlier. This really gives you the ability to see what the clothes are going to look like. If you want to add this feature of a model walking down a runway or a specific road, you can actually see the details and the shimmer of the different fabrics and the extended details of the assets. Additionally, you can have these assets represented with different races, different ethnicities, as well as in different locations, really experiencing the product in its best light. Also creating additional personalization for your catalog and your different marketing campaigns, depending on which regions you'd like to deploy those into. Additionally, VO allows you to add some additional personalization at scale. As you'll notice here, these are all very similar assets of a man riding a scooter in a specific location, but these are all tailored to these specific users' profiles. You'll notice John S. is into tech, TV sitcoms, and investing, so we've put him in kind of a city-esque vibe, whereas Sam T has interest in surfing, swimming, and TV dramas, where we put him over into the beach. I don't necessarily think their TV preferences have a lot to do with their locations, but it could. You can see as well, very similar for these other two interests are matching the advertisement. And last but not least, I'll kind of hand it over to my colleague, Sean, so he can talk about next steps and really how we can help you guys the most with using Nano Banana, Imagen, and everything on Google Cloud. Over to you, Sean.
Appreciate it, Andrew. For those of you who are not familiar with Zazmic, we are a Google Cloud Premier Partner headquartered in San Francisco, California. We've been in business for about 13 years. We have over 425 engineers located across the globe. We have over a decade of experience in AI, and we're serving around 600 customers right now. We bring both depth and scale to every engagement. So let's walk through some of the key benefits of partnering with Zazmic. Once the partnership agreement is signed, your organization gains access to several valuable resources designed to make your cloud journey faster, easier, and more cost-effective. First, we offer funding for implementation, as well as funding for workshops, which can help offset the cost of getting your team trained and ready. Next, we provide support for full or partial migrations to Google Cloud. So whether you're moving everything all at once or in phases, we've got you completely covered. Every organization also receives a dedicated account manager here at Zazmic, ensuring you have a single point of contact to guide you throughout the process. On top of that, our partnership includes billing support for your Google Cloud account, technical support via email, and cost optimization sessions to make sure that your cloud spend is efficient. And finally, we provide a technical or migration assessment to help identify the best approach for your workloads. And the best part, all of those benefits are included with your partnership, no extra cost. Now, I believe we have some questions, excuse me, and I feel like we've got a lot of them. I know that we've been kind of answering some of them in real time, but I believe that we have some time to go over some of the others.
Yeah, there was a question in regards to leveraging copyright material, and a question on how Nano Banana would be allowed to leverage that material. So Nano Banana is not leveraging any sort of copyrighted material. It's using the general web for its knowledge base. If that information is on the general web, it will have the ability to kind of use it as a reference point. There are some additional things we can put in place if you're concerned about any sort of copyright usage or any sort of copyright material being used for your creations. We can make sure there is safeguards in place on the back end inside of Vertex AI to really limit what the VO model has access to. If there's a specific set of assets you want to have access to, we can do that as well. In regards to how that model is trained and how Gemini is trained, that would be a question that we could definitely relay over to Google and get a more specific answer back for you. There's another question in here from Paul. Do you have a company jingle? We do have a company jingle. It was actually at the very beginning. It's really just a short little experience or enhance your company's capabilities with Zazmic. It's not necessarily a jingle, more of a catchphrase, but I know there's a lot of companies out there that might have jingles. And then the model set right now, VO is limited to the most recent version of Gemini. After a year of the previous version of Gemini, model Gemini being released, it actually gets deprecated. The list might not look as long as because right now Google Cloud is only leveraging 2.5, 3.0, and 3.1, the most recent models of Gemini there. Let's see. How to manipulate the size of an object. Some objects we add to the scene were either too big or too small compared to the human or the object around that. Is there a way to control this? The best way to control assets is going to be around that prompt engineering. I don't know if you noticed in the video demo how specific some of Marina's prompts were, and also how specific some of Muhammad's prompts were. Whatever you leave open to interpretation, VO and Gemini and Imogen will interpret, and it will be different every single time. So the most structure that you can put in those prompts, the most details that you can put into those prompts is going to be the most effective and the most efficient. It added a digital zoom without prompting it to. How do you reverse that effects? Really just going back to prompting. The prompt engineering is going to be a really, really pivotal for both Imogen and VO. We can help you guys with different prompt engineering techniques. We have a full catalog of best practices with prompt engineering. If you guys are interested, we can definitely have a meeting around that as well. And then I see one, is it possible to add the specific names of fonts or the numbers of fonts to the prompts in order to fully follow the branding guidelines? Would it apply? You can actually do that. And especially if you have reference material for those fonts, for those branding guidelines, we could make sure that we inputted those as different references, whether it be a snippet or a little screenshot of what that font looks like or what the text looks like. As far as font size goes, that's pretty universal, so it should be able to do that pretty effectively. I am not seeing any more questions. If I missed any, apologies. We will definitely follow up via email. We have all of our attendees registered, and your questions will be tracked based on the attendees as well. Our next steps will be to follow up with a nice outreach to see if you guys are interested in having a more in-depth conversation one-on-one. The demo and the webinar today is really just a fraction of what's possible with Imogen and VO. So if you guys have any use cases for marketing campaigns, any use cases for asset generation, anything like that, we're more than happy to have a deeper conversation around that as well. But if there are no additional questions, definitely appreciate the time today. Definitely appreciate you guys listening and learning something new. We will be reaching out to you guys and scheduling meetings according to your time zone and where you guys are located. So thank you. We will follow up and answer those outstanding questions as well. I do want to thank my colleagues, our marketing team, Sean, Muhammad, and everybody as well. Great team, great time today. But if you have any additional questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and we'll be in touch shortly.
All right. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you again for attending today. Be sure to take a picture of the QR code that is aligned to your area, and keep an eye out for a follow-up email. We'll get to those as quickly as possible so we could set up time to discuss your organization's specific needs and use cases. You will also receive a copy of today's slide deck and recorded webinar. Remember, at Zazmic, we help companies like yours unlock the full potential of their cloud and AI investments, whether it's extending your engineering team, implementing solutions like Gemini Enterprise, Google Workspace, security, or optimizing your Google Cloud environment for scale. Our team is here to support you every step of the way. We can even explore potential funding mechanisms from Google to help make the initiatives more accessible. And as a thank you for attending today, we are offering a $500 Google Cloud credit to the first 10 participants who schedule an implementation consultation with our team. There are a few qualification requirements to receive the credit, and we'll be happy to walk through those details during our follow-up conversation. The credit can be applied towards launching your first AI initiative or your just Google Cloud spend in general, helping you get started with lower upfront investments or upfront investment and reduce the risk there. Thank you so much for attending today's session. We hope you gain new insights and learn something you didn't know before the presentation. We look forward to connecting with your team in the near future. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.